MCC Island's new game, DynaBall, just released, and I'm going to be showing you 13 tips and tricks to help you win more games. But first, what is DynaBall? DynaBall is an MCC Island original game, where two teams go head-to-head in a PvP-based game. But instead of punching, you have slingshots with items that you use to shoot the other team with. Your objective is to destroy the other team's platform to knock them off their island. Last team standing wins. There are a couple things I'd like to note about this game as well. 1. There will be items that fall from the sky. Either TNT crates, which give you more ammo, or chance blocks that will give you random items such as speed, jump boost, levitation, airstrikes, rocket launchers, and many more items. And number 2, when TNT breaks the blocks, repair blocks spawn, which you're able to place. But when TNT breaks repair blocks, you don't get them back. Now that we know what DynaBall is, let's get to the tips and tricks. Now for the first tip, keep blocks with you. Instead of using all your blocks to rebuild the platform, you should always have 10 or 20 blocks with you most of the time. Whether it is to tower up, bridge out, this will help you get out of some sticky situations. Speaking of sticky situations, for tip number 2, try to stick people with TNT as often as possible. Instead of hitting people with TNT once, it'll spawn an extra 2 TNT on them, creating more blast damage all over, creating better chances for your team. And for tip number 3, be aware of your surroundings. If you don't have anything to attack with, be sure to help around the map and look for crate drops. Sometimes I see people staring at the enemy team even though they can't attack them. My point is, always be trying to do something. Tip number 4, spleef when there's gravity blocks. On a map such as Dominoes, no, not that, as I was saying, some maps have a lot of gravity blocks. When this is the case, try and shoot the bottom of the map. It'll cause the rest of the blocks to fall and causing other players to fall as well. Just beware of other players doing it to you as well. And for tip number 5, minimize TNT stick damage. When someone sticks you with TNT, it'll flash stuck on your screen. Try and run away from the rest of your team so you aren't griefing your own team. Tip number 6. Aim higher than you expect. When shooting TNT, you may think lining your crosshair with the enemy makes you hit them, right? Wrong. Try and make an angle when you shoot, because just like we learned in college entry physics, the path of the TNT is parabolic, meaning that the speed of the TNT is constant. If y is equal to 0 at the midpoint of the launch, assuming that we're at eye level with the opponent, we can make an attack with the TNT by making an angle upward to adjust for the pull of gravity, adjusting up or down depending on where the opponent is, creating a parabola. Stay in school, kids. It helps you get on the DynaBall leaderboards. Tip number 7, repair from the bottom layer now. How often do I see players cover holes rather than fill them? This creates a false sense of a safe platform, meaning a player might be standing on it not knowing there's a gaping hole under them. And if they get hit with the TNT while standing on it, it's pretty much done for them. So instead of doing that, try and build from the bottom layer, so at least players might know that it's an unsafe platform. Tip number 8, never stand still for too long. This is so you aren't vulnerable to other players recognizing your habits. Instead, try and move around the map to be more unpredictable. And for number 9, and I shouldn't have to say this, don't tower. Normally for games like this, towering is fine, but instead of TNT brushing off of blocks, it sticks to them, meaning that towers are very vulnerable because players can take the floor out from under you. Those blocks would be put to better use, either fixing the main island or being held onto for emergencies. Tip number 10, try to get rid of unstable TNT ASAP. As soon as you see it say unstable, you have 5 seconds to get rid of that TNT, or else it'll blow up on you. Even if you can't shoot it at the other team, just shoot it. Your TNT does not do damage to your island, and it's better to use it than lose it. For tip number 11, we have levitation. Sometimes you can get a spark of levitation from the chance crates. You should only be using these in a last-ditch effort situation. Sometimes I see people use it just to get to a higher platform, but that's wrong. You should be using these to get out of a jam. Whether that is to better your standing, or when you're already in the void, it's better to use these as a safety net. Also, on certain maps, there will be sparkly sand scattered around, and when enemy TNT hits them, it'll cause you to levitate for 10 seconds. Try and use these to your advantage in endgame if there are any left. And a quick tip for number 12. Use chicken airstrikes at an angle to maximize the amount of land you hit. It's a short tip, but it usually helps getting that extra 1 or 2 TNT on their map. And last, but definitely not least, when you have a spawn arrow, hide it on the other team's island. What I mean is shoot it in a spot where they can't break it. This will cause the enemy's team to be so cluttered and it will do tons of damage. The best ones to do this is when you have the skeleton spawner, because it literally shoots TNT. It's overpowered and I recommend doing this as much as possible. Anyways, that's all the tips I got for today. If there's any that you think I missed, comment them down below or join my Discord and talk about them. And if you could, be sure to like and subscribe. I made my sleep schedule hate me for this video, so please make my suffering worth it. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye!